All right, today we're going to do something a little different. We're plugging some ancient philosophy directly into a very modern problem. It's a fascinating thought experiment, really. We're going to use the mind of Socrates himself to take a hard look at our so-called green ambitions. So let's just dive right in. So I want you to just picture this for a second. It's 2026. The philosopher Socrates, the guy famous for questioning absolutely everything, suddenly finds himself walking down the streets of one of our cities. He's surrounded by these sleek, silent electric cars. Now, what do you think? Would he embrace this new technology, or would he see something that maybe the rest of us have missed?
Okay, so at first glance, the simple answer seems, well, pretty obvious, doesn't it? If you just look at Socrates the man, this figure who was known for his incredible simplicity and his total dedication to the public good, the choice seems pretty clear.
I mean, to really get this, we have to remember who we're talking about here. Socrates lived this super modest life back in ancient Athens. He had zero interest in money or status. His entire life, his whole purpose, was about questioning himself and everyone around him to find what's truly virtuous and what's true knowledge, and all for the good of the community, or what the Greeks called the polis. And this is where it gets really fun, because you can translate his philosophy directly into a modern choice. Socrates was famous for walking around in a tattered tunic, right? It was a symbol of him rejecting luxury. So, his ride today? It wouldn't be a fancy high-end Tesla. He'd probably dismiss that as some kind of shiny distraction. No, it would be something like the Dacia Spring. It's the most affordable, most essential EV out there. It's a vehicle of democratic virtue, not a status symbol.
So you add it all up, and the initial case is incredibly strong. He would have loved the silence for deep conversations on the go. The zero emissions, totally in line with his search for harmony with the community. And the fact that it's accessible to many makes it a tool for the common good. It seems like an open and shut case, right? But with Socrates, the first answer is never the last answer.
Oh, no. This is where the real Socratic work begins. He wouldn't just accept the card face value, he would interrogate it. He'd put the whole idea on trial. This was his signature move, his whole deal, the elenkos. It's this method of relentless, non-stop questioning that's designed to completely dismantle a simple truth until you get to the complex and often pretty uncomfortable reality that's hiding underneath. And this question right here, this is the pivot. He stops looking at the tailpipe and starts looking at the entire system. He's asking a fundamental question. Is this machine truly helping us live better lives, or have we just become slaves to its needs? You just know he would be immediately suspicious of the words we use. He'd hear a term like green growth, and all the alarm bells in his head would start ringing. He'd see it as a paradox, maybe even a clever linguistic trick. I mean, think about it. How can something that demands endless growth, more mining, more resources, more consumption, truly be green? This is the question he would put to all of our engineers and politicians. He'd argue that we haven't actually solved the problem of our massive consumption at all. We've just shifted the damage. We've moved the environmental and social costs out of sight to places we'd much rather not think about. And that powerful line of questioning leads us directly into the shadows, to the hidden costs that are embedded in the very battery that powers this supposedly clean machine. And this leads us to this really powerful concept, the idea that our clean cities are only made possible by a dirty secret. For the air in a city like Stockholm to stay pristine, other parts of the world become what are called green sacrifice zones. They're the ones who pay the true price for our green transition. And look, this isn't just some abstract philosophy. This is a map of the real-world consequences. To get lithium in Chile's Atacama Desert, you have devastating water scarcity. In parts of China, you've got mercury levels 40 times higher than they should be. We're talking about the disruption of indigenous traditions in Canada and the fragmentation of vital habitats in Australia. This is the hidden map of power behind every EV battery. And this injustice actually has a name: green colonialism. And it's a deeply troubling concept because it suggests that our quest for a sustainable future is just repeating one of history's oldest and darkest patterns. It's a solution for the wealthy and powerful that's built on the exploitation of the marginalized. So if the supply chain behind this car is fundamentally unjust, can the machine itself ever be considered virtuous? I mean, how would Socrates, the great ethicist, even begin to judge the character of a car? Well, to Socrates, virtue, what he called arete, isn't just about doing no harm. It's about fulfilling its true function, its ergon, excellently.
So for him, the question is not, is the car clean? The real question is, does this car excellently fulfill its purpose of moving us all toward a good and just life? That's the real test. So he would essentially put the machine through a kind of moral Turing test. First, moral attention. Second, realism. You can't market a car as a planet saver if its very existence depends on parasitic extraction. And third, temperance. Does it respect limits? Or is its real purpose just to fuel our limitless consumption, just a little more efficiently? So, we've followed this simple answer. We've gone through the deep interrogation, and we've put it through the ethical test. So after all of this, what's the final Socratic verdict? Would he get behind the wheel of that electric chariot? The answer is a qualified refusal. Now, he doesn't just say no, and this is so important. His refusal isn't a rejection of the technology itself, but of the broken, unexamined system that produces it. And here's why. First, he just cannot accept a so-called virtue that's purchased at the cost of justice for other people. Second, a fossil-free life is ethically hollow if it's just built on this new form of colonialism. And most importantly, he would see that the electric car is an elegant, sophisticated answer to the wrong question. The real problem isn't the fuel in our cars, it's our society's addiction to limitless consumption.
And ultimately, Socrates leaves us where he always does. Not with a simple answer, but with a better question that turns the lens right back on ourselves. His famous motto was, "An unexamined life is not worth living." After this whole exploration, maybe we have to ask ourselves, is an unexamined car worth driving?
Grazie per averci seguito.